Hi, this is Keith. I'm paddling Lake Superior's Apostle Islands in northern Wisconsin. Now, today is a gorgeous sunny day with no wind and the water is dead calm. But Lake Superior is cold, only about 45 degrees. So you have to take this seriously. When we got here, we took a safety class.
Shallow water causing bigger wave momentum over here where you would be trying to perform that crossing.
We learned to exit the boat, get back in case you had to. We were able to even roll the boat.
We rented kayaks and a marine radio from Trek and Trail in Bayfield, Wisconsin. We had our own camping gear, but they can rent you everything you need and even offer guided excursions. They loaded our boats and shuttled us to Little Sand Bay to start our journey. At Little Sand Bay, a national park volunteer logged our float plan in case they had to come find us and gave us tips on how to avoid drowning due to hypothermia. An unprotected person in water this cold can last about an hour. We have wetsuits and PFDs, so we're well equipped. The Apostle Islands are a national park, so you need to reserve campsites in advance. We headed to Sand Island to see the caves and camp for the night. Bill led the way. He is by far the strongest paddler. The caves are very cool. Waves and ice have carved out these caves, and on calm days you can paddle into them. After exploring the caves, we made a rookie mistake. We did not have our map out, and we missed our campsite. We did get to see the Sand Island lighthouse and found a wonderful beach with campsites 4 and 5, but you can see we paddled miles out of our way. It's not entirely our fault that we missed our site. A winter storm had destroyed the access. I recommend sites 4 and 5. Site 6 has a great view, but it's hard to get to.
Site number 6, Sand Island. Simple walk up that sand dune.
On our second day, we covered about 12 miles. This was the longest day of our 33-mile paddle, and the water was as smooth as glass. We stopped at the beach on York Island and the lighthouse on Raspberry Island.
York Island has a wonderful beach. 3 campsites and a nice enclosed pit toilet. This is campsite number 2.
The sand on York Island is mostly quartz, and because it's trapped in this bay, the waves push it up and down the beach until it's like tiny marbles. It's called singing sand and makes a unique sound.
The sand stretches out nice and shallow. You can wade around.
Where we can't quite see Raspberry now that we're back in here. It's just, I think, a little bit runner, so yeah, so we gotta come out here, make a slight turn, and then over to Raspberry.
Next up, Raspberry Island Lighthouse. where we'll eat lunch.
The Civil War. Imagine that though. In the middle of the Civil War, they spent $6,000 out here on Raspberry Island to build a lighthouse. Shows you how important the federal government viewed these light stations back then. Being a lighthouse keeper meant you were a government employee. So you had to do a lot of paperwork, a lot of work writing down all the stuff that happened at a light station. And many times that's how we know so much about lighthouse. Chris Feller, he started working out here in 1914 and worked all the way through 1924, so 10 years at this light station.
The National Park Service restored the lighthouse on Raspberry Island to its 1920s appearance. Tours are $5, and you can reach the island by tour boat if you don't want to paddle. The Apostle Islands are in the largest rift in the Earth's surface. The rift was filled in with volcanic rock, and then rivers and ponds deposited silt to form sedimentary rock. Glaciers then scoured some spots and dumped enormous piles of sand and clay in other spots. The islands are eroding away. There are 22 today. 100 years ago, there were 23. You can see the variety of stones on this little beach on Hermit Island.
Night 2, campsite 6 on Oak Island, complete with a nice little stream.
There are a few ways you can stay comfortable and dry while camping. One is a hammock and a tarp. A clothesline helps dry out your traveling clothes. A tent can help keep you warm and dry. There are lots of bears on the islands, so the National Park Service provides bear boxes to keep your food safe. The Apostle Islands are a unique place and protect many endangered ecosystems. We saw wildlife like this family of ducks.
Where'd Mama Duck go?
A few bald eagles, and this snake. There did not seem to be a lot of aquatic plants. And at this time of the year, the fish were deep. We only saw 3.
There's a fishing boat and seagulls.
The shipping channel through the islands averages 95 feet deep. We took a hike to the observation point on Oak Island and found many interesting plants.
Another is though that you get to do
Oak Island is the tallest island at about 475 feet above the lake. The view is nice, but the hike with its steep ups and downs and the bugs were a bit much for me at my advanced age. But Mark kept me going. I usually dehydrate our food, but since we did not have to portage, we could bring some real food. Mark planned the meals and brought corn on the cob, steaks, and goulash. We ate well. This gave me some time to relax and read a book. Our third day started with a breeze, but steadily built up some waves. This is where Lizzie, our safety instructor's advice, came in handy. The waves continued to build throughout the day, and we were glad when we found our campsite on Basswood Island. Even though these days are turbulent, I will sleep well tonight, for my body is tired, but my soul is rested. And as the storm clouds gather in the distance, I will have courage, because good friends are near. We weathered the storm with a few bent tent poles and a wet sleeping bag. Nothing we can't fix. It was time to head home. We packed up our kayaks one last time, balancing the gear so the kayaks were trim. And once we were loaded, we paddled back to Bayfield.